come along on an overnight sailing race. We boarded the boat at 3 p.m. to get everything set up and unfurl all the sails, and then we headed over to the start line. We ended up being the last boat to cross the start line, which meant that we got to watch quite a few intense starts to the race. And then we were off. As we sailed down the bay, most of the boats began to spread out, and we were not moving quite as fast as we wanted, so we ended up following the lead of another boat farther off and hoisting our spinnaker. This gave us quite a bit more speed, so we were going 5 to 6 knots, and we were able to actually overtake multiple boats that had been a little bit in front of us, and then we ended up rounding the point, getting out of the bay. As soon as we crossed the point, we took down the spinnaker because we had 15 knots of wind and we were completely heeled over, so the boat was at an angle this entire time and we were flying through the water. So obviously we decided that this was the moment to eat dinner. As we passed the island, we were on a very specific tack so that we could cross the island without deviating course, only that left us very close to shore, and we all held our breaths as we crossed the point with 5 feet to spare. As we entered the downwind section, we broke out the snacks which my brother and grandpa had stocked up on before. The rest of the fleet seemed to be deviating course, which left us wondering if maybe we had missed something. We passed the environmental mark just behind the other boats. We anticipated this leg of the trip to be a lot more intense since we were no longer on a calm downwind spinnaker run, so we all changed outfits, put coats on, and took down the spinnaker as we headed into the bay. Except at this point, the wind decided to die on us, so we were ranging between 2 knots and 0.2 knots heading down the bay, where we decided we just needed to tack back and forth to be able to make it back to the finish line. Since it was rather slow, we spent a lot of time in the cockpit, laughing, eating chocolate bars like granola bars, and just hanging out, and this is when we finally saw the finish line. So at 12:31, after 8.5 hours of racing, we finally crossed the finish line.